Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in. This is the first day of a new week. Come on in, come on in. Come and sit down at the dinner table with your brother Tony. Go ahead, my brothers and sisters, invite some more family members and friends. Tell them that it's dinner time and we got plenty of good, hot soul food for the soul. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I speak on relationships. When I talk about relationship, I strongly talk about relationship from basically a biblical point of view. When I say biblical, I strongly believe when you look at the book of Genesis, I believe that God created a relationship. And the example is the Adam and Eve story. That's the position that I come from. If you believe in another type of relationship, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But if you sit at the dinner table, I primarily talk about the relationship based on a model of the book of Genesis, when God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. He had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Thirdly, God represented the woman Eve to Adam after he had borrowed a rib, and he brought the woman back to Adam. And Adam said in the presence of God, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's my position, okay? But if you disagree with my position, I still encourage you to sit at the dinner table and get some good food for the soul, okay? I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those of you that are on the book, I may make a comment to those that I see on the well, those of you that are on the book, yes, though I may have some people on the tube. Let me get it straight now. You may not see their names or their comments, but I will call their names and comments. And those of you that are on the tube, I make a reference to those that are on the book. You may not see their name in the comment, but I will call their name in comments, okay? And I want you to think and feel that you could say what you think or feel, during this conversation at the dinner table. You can put it in the comment section. And what do I mean by that? If you have any questions or comment, feel free that you could do it, but do it in a very respectful way, because we may have guests at the dinner table. You know what I mean, my brother and sister? So come on in. Come on in. It is dinner time. And let's look at the menu for tonight. When we look at the menu for tonight, my brother and sister, the main course that's coming up is, when will God bring the right man or woman into my life? Again, when will God bring the right man or woman into my life? This is what we're going to talk about at the dinner table tonight. How you doing, Sister Tammy Covenant? Welcome to the dinner table, Sister. I'm glad that you're here. And get ready, my brother and sister. Like I said, go ahead and invite some more family member and friend to sit down at the dinner table with us. Now, when will God bring the right man or woman into my life? Let's go. Let's taste a little of this appetizer. We have to do a little appetizer before we get to the main course. And as it is written in the book of Psalms 84:11, again, Psalm 84:11, Psalm 84:11 say, "For the Lord God is a sun and shield. God will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly." Focus on this key word. Well, not key word, but phrase. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. So, my brothers and sisters, we're talking about relationship between the man and the woman. If you have desire, brother, for a good woman, which is a right woman, and sister, if you have a relationship with a right man that is good, it ain't nothing wrong with that relationship, and God will not hold it back from you. You may be in a position where you're not experiencing that right now, but I'm telling you, God have a ram in the bush, sister. God have a ram in the bush, brother, but you have to be prepared when God brings the right man or woman into your life. Now, my brother and sister, check this out. There are many men and women that are currently jumping in and out of in of relationship. And there are some men and women, my brothers and sisters, you might be one of them, that you're on in a relationship and you're wondering, Lord, when? You've been waiting for years and years, and you have been through that mess with different relationships. So right now you are really not into a relationship, but you desire to be in a relationship and you're wondering when. And we're going to address these things tonight at the dinner table, my brothers and sisters. So keep that in mind. So there are two phrases. As a matter of fact, we'll get to those later. We'll get to those later. But let me make some points, my brother and sister. Let me make some points. There are a few situations that I'm going to discuss tonight about relationship between a man and a woman. Remember, on the menu for tonight, when will God bring the right man or woman into my life? Let me go ahead and say what I was going to say, but I address that part a little later. Okay, listen to this. We're going back to God's word. How you doing, Brother Murphy? We're going back. Welcome to the dinner table. As it is written in the book of James 4:3. The book of James 4:3. The book of James 4:3. It said, when you ask, that's anything you ask God for, you do not receive because you ask with the wrong motive, that you may spend that on your given pleasures. Okay. So even if it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister, according to James, he making a blanket statement, but it's even including relationship. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with the wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. That's one factor. And then on the flip side of the coin, in Matthew 7, that's verse 7 through 8. Matthew chapter 7, 7 through 8. Matthew 7, 7 through 8. Jesus is doing the talking. As it is written, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open for you. For everyone who asks, receive. The one who seek, find. To the one who knocked, the door will be open. Now, it appears like for the carnal minded or the worldly man or woman, it'll make it seem like there's a contradiction. There's no contradiction, because the first part, what I was talking about, a man and a woman, and when it comes to a relationship, you could be asking with the wrong motive. Whereas the second part, or the flip side of the coin, you're not asking with the wrong motive. You're asking for a particular motive, and we'll talk about that part later. Now, there are different situations when it comes to relationship, my brothers and sisters, for a man and a woman that desire to be in a relationship. Now, I'm going to go over 7. You may see yourself in this situation, and I just want you to listen, have an open mind, because we're going to get you through this, my brother and sister. If you desire to be in a good relationship, you may be in one of these categories, but we're going to lift you out of wherever you at as for your status go, so you will be prepared, brother, for the right woman, and sister, you will be prepared for the right man. Okay, there are some relationships where, and I'm talking to you Christian brothers and sisters, I'm not talking to the world. I'm talking to my Christian brother and sister, you single brother and sister. Is it possible, or are you currently in and out of relationship? Or are you going in and out, in and out, in and out of relationship? So my brother and sister, if you're going in and out of a relationship, what's going on? What is going on? There's a reason why you're going from relationship to relationship. There's a reason why. So what the reason why you're going from relationship to relationship? I have heard some men, they talk about going, dating several women. I have even listened to some women that going through several men. What is the common denominator in this? Because a lot of time, men and women that go be in and out of relationship with different people, a lot of time these men and women, they play the part of a victim. But unfortunately, most of the time when it be a victim card thrown out, most of the time it appear like a woman play the victim more than a man. But there are some men that play the victim in relationship. So what is the common denominator when you're going in and out of relationship, brother and sister? You the common denominator. It's a reason. So if you think that you're real good, my brother and sister, why you're not attached to no one? Why you still got to go from relationship to relationship? Number two, right now, some of you brothers and sisters, right now as I speak, you are currently feeling lonely, not alone. You see, there's a difference between feeling lonely and alone. Lonely, my brother and sister, is when you could get into that depressed part. You could get very, very depressed. I'm going to tell you this, my brother and sister. Maybe you have seen this, because I know I have seen. I have seen a lot of men and women out there. They're lonely, but they smile a lot. They try to appear like everything is happy for them and everything. But when you really listen to them talk, they have a desire to be in a relationship with a man or a woman, but they walking around, they look like they happy and everything, and that they got it going on and stuff. But when it really get down to it, they are in a depressed state. Now it's nothing. Now there's another word called, some people get lonely and being alone different. Now if you are alone, that's a big difference, because Adam was alone, but he was not depressed. You see, when you are lonely, you could be depressed. But when you're alone, you're not actually alone, no, because if you believe in God through his son Jesus, you're never alone. But God did make a statement, and he said it's not good for man to be alone. He never said it's not good for man to be lonely. He said it's not good for man to be alone. So if you're alone right now, there's hope. You recognize that you have a relationship with God, but you desire to have a man, sister, or a woman, brother, in your presence. And if you delight in the Lord, my brother, sister, the Lord does not hold any good thing back from you, that including a relationship. Number three, you are in a relationship right now. Some of you brothers and sisters, you are currently call yourself in a relationship. You have settled. You have actually settled, brother, with a woman. And sister, you have settled with a man, but you know that it's not doing much for you. Some of you brothers and sisters, you're currently dating. You're currently dating someone, but you that person, you already know that it's really nothing in that relationship. You may have some sympathy together, but when you look deep on the inside of you, my brother and sister, you could tell that that relationship is not for you. Case in point, you brother or you sister, you go out on a date with the person that you say you're in a relationship, right? And you say you have a good time and everything, but when when that person is not around you, and you assess the relationship, you still have that lonely feeling that alone feeling in you, not the lonely feeling, but alone. How you doing, Sister Tierra Mo? Welcome to the dim table. So you are still, you could be, sister, with a man, or brother, you could be with a woman, but you still are alone, but not lonely. You know why you are alone with a person that you settled for? Because really, that's not the person that God has for you. You see, if God brought the right person into your life, that person does not make you happy, but God bring that person into your life to add to your life. You see, you don't have to depend on that person to make you happy. Nobody, you never depend on nobody to make you happy, brother, sister. You supposed to rejoice in the Lord, but if the Lord bring the right person into your life, what God is doing to bring that person into your life to add. But you can't depend on a man and woman to make you happy, because you see, when we are emotional beings, we got analytics and we have emotion. You see, if we go by our emotion, my brother, so you see, our emotion go up and down. It goes up and down, so you can't depend on your feelings when it comes to a relationship. So don't settle, my brother, and don't settle, my sister. I'm talking to some of you right now. You on the verge of you're about to get married. You're about to get married because you selling. Don't do it. Before I met Cinderella, my brother and sister, right before I met Cinderella, I was Cinderella, for those of you that don't know, her real name to question, but I call it Cinderella because the shoe fit. That's my wife. Right before I met my wife, there was this young lady that I was about to settle for. But you know, when I was about to settle, the Lord was holding me back because I was going to get in a blunder again. I have been through some bad relationships, so I was about to mess up. Not only was I about to mess up, there's a strong possibility that I was about to think about marrying a woman, but the Lord helped me back. And I'm glad that he helped me back from settling. So some of you brothers and sisters, do not settle. If you in a relationship that settle, don't do it. You getting your red flag. You Christian brother and Christian sister, that's the Lord's spirit that telling you he or she is not the one. So don't do it. Number 4, you go out with different people, my brothers and sisters. You go out with different people, but you still feel empty also. So, brother, you got these whole platoon of women. Sister, you got these whole platoon of men, and you dating different men and women, and you just hanging out and stuff. But even while you hanging out with these men and women, you know those men and women aren't the one. You do your thing with whatever your thing is, and you call it happiness. You could do all kinds of stuff. But again, when you depart from that person, my brother and sister, when you really analyze what's going on the inside of you, you still what? You feel alone. Not lonely. You still feel alone. That man or that woman is not for you. Now, there are some people that will say, okay, let me give you an illustration, my brother and sister. Right before I was Cinderella, I was a single man. And I was not signed to nobody's contract. Okay. I was not signed with nobody's contract. So I was doing my thing. I was dating and stuff. Okay. I was dating. And the ladies that I was seeing every now and then, they was pretty cool. They were pretty cool. But I know within myself, and to know to verify, I did not marry them. I married my wife. So that told me within myself that the Lord intervened and helped me from getting in the wrong type of relationship. Do you follow what I'm saying, my brothers and sisters? So the Lord helped me back. So going out with different people, my brothers and sisters, brother, you may be called a man. You may be getting a high five, and you may be called player, and some of you women, y'all may be called player. But let me tell you something. A man that dates a lot of women and a woman that dates a lot of men, the core part of it, that man, those men, sister, and those women, brother, you know within yourself, come bring it to your attention. I'm holding the mirror in your face. You know that you're not happy with neither one of them. You get a piece of this personality, you get a piece of this personality, and you can put all of them together, but you still are not with the right person that God wants you to be with. So keep dating, and you're going to still feel empty. That empty void is still going to be inside of you. I know this this is right in some of you people are facing tonight. So that you see this resurrection of the dead on the inside of you. You got dead feelings for that man or that woman. Number 5, you have just gotten out of a bad relationship. You have gotten out of a bad relationship, and you jump immediately into another relationship. There are some of you brothers and sisters, you have probably went through a divorce or whatever you want to call it. You got out of a bad relationship, and what you did, you immediately jumped into another relationship. You know why you immediately jump into another relationship, or do you know why some people do it? It's called you using a Band-Aid to cover up a cut. You got hurt some kind of way. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. You got hurt. So you looking for someone to fill that void. You could have got a divorce, and you putting your feelings and stuff into that. Your mate, if you married, may have recently died. So you trying to fill a void. You cannot fill a void, because a lot of times, brother and sister, you came out of a bad situation. Let's just say not the person not to see. Let's just say you was call yourself dating someone. What you remember on a subconscious level is the good time that you had. And you trying to not deal with the bad part. So a lot of time, you brother and sister, you will find yourself getting in a relationship with someone else that got similar qualities as that other person did when you first got into the relationship. So you're going through a cycle of dating clones. That's what a lot of you brothers and sisters do. You are dating a clone of somebody in your past. It's certain things about that man or woman that you like what your other mate had, but the relationship broke up. And guess what? You find yourself, it's just a matter of time that it's not going to work, because instead of you going ahead, my brother and sister, going on trying to heal, you're not healing. You're trying to fill that void. You're trying to put something in that plug. You're trying to stop the leak. So my brothers and sisters, one thing about it, you cannot meet the right man or the right woman when you have immediately jumped in another relationship and now you're more confused than ever. You don't realize you're confused. You don't realize that you're trying to mask a hurt, but that's what you're doing. But God had this right man, this right woman for you, but you did not let God bring you through. Some of you brothers and sisters, you didn't even go to God and be straight up with God and say, look, I'm hurting, Lord. Heal my hurt. Whatever happened in that previous relationship, you need to ask the Lord to heal my hurt. If you did some relationship against that person, or he or she did something against you, you have to ask the Lord to forgive that situation, so you could come to terms with it and go ahead and get prepared and heal for another relationship that the Lord, got prepared for you. So that's what you, brother and sister, you must think about that, okay? You must think about, you need to heal. And a lot of time, your brother and sister, when you do it, you're looking for closure. You still holding on to a bad relationship because that man or woman could have left you, right? And you think that he or she owe you an explanation why he or she ghosts you. A lot of time, my brothers, let me tell you this. A lot of time in the kind of relationship, at first it seems like it's all exciting and it's hot and popping right at the beginning of the relationship. Then the reality part start coming in where he or she start taking out those masks. So you start seeing those imperfections, like he or she starts seeing the imperfection in you. And then that man or woman, they may one day, they may not call you no more. They may not text you no more. Some do it cold turkey, just like this. Then there are some that gradually pull themselves away from you. And then when you see someone gradually pulling themselves from you, you may see it, but you're not acting upon it. You understand? But you see, you in a needy role at that particular time. You in a needy role because that hurt or disappointment have not healed from that previous relationship, which leads to number 6. You're in a relationship with someone and you know that you're being used. Some of you brothers and sisters, you're currently in a relationship with someone and you know you're being used, but unfortunately, you are in a bad soul tie. Brother, you decided, you analytically decided to get in a relationship with that woman. You decided it. Now she got you hoodwinked, deceived, bamboozled. Some of you sisters, you got in a relationship with this man because of your feelings. You got in a relationship. Now he got you bamboozled, bewildered. So you got some brothers and you got some sisters that they are in an unhealthy, devilish soul tie. So what you don't understand, my brother and sister, you got involved. Some of you brother and sister, when I say brother, sometimes to you Christian brother and sister, you have gotten involved with a son, sister, or a daughter, brother of your next door neighbor called Satan. God did not want you to be involved and play with Satan's children. But you thought, brother, and you thought, sister, that you could be friends with Satan's children. You can't be friends with Satan's children because of their daddy. The daddy is Satan. Do you know who their daddy is? The daddy is Satan. You, brother, and you, sister, are daughter, son of God. That's why God don't want you going playing ball with these men and women, because they're going to jack you up. They're going to take you on a trip, a real trip. So keep playing with, you kept playing with Satan's son, sister, or Satan's daughter, brother, and you start getting that emotional tie to them. How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Welcome to the dinner table. Now you soul tied to them. And you wondering what's going on. And not only are you soul tied to Satan's daughters and sons, you see them playing with other people or doing other things. But Daddy God or Father God, he didn't want you doing it anyway, because he didn't want us to be what? Unequally yoked with unbelievers, which are Satan's sons and daughters. But you thought, brother, and you thought, sister, that you were an exception to the rule. But right now, as I speak, you see that you're not no exception to the rule. And I'm not playing holier than thou. I have been in a relationship with some of Satan's daughters. I have. They're pretty, fine, and all that kind of stuff. But some of them were Satan's daughters. And I could tell you this, and the only way I can get out of it, God had to pull me out of that pig pen. I was one of God's prodigal sons, not only on relationship, but other things. But we're talking about relationship. It took the power of God to break those shackles. Because that's what it is. You get shackles. Because the thing about dealing with Satan's sons and daughters, they bring chains with them because they have a key. And once they get your ankle size, they're going to put that invisible shackle around your feet, and you're going to be tied to them. And you're going to know they're using you. You're going to know it. You're going to see that they're using you. You're going to see, my brother and sister, that you put most of the time into the relationship. You're going to see that. You're going to be doing all the investing in the relationship. You're going to be the giver in a relationship. And that man or woman is going to be the taker. And they're going to drain you like a leech. They're going to drain you like a vampire. They're going to drain you. They're going to suck you to you ain't got no more. They're going to suck your mental thoughts away from you. They're going to trample over your will, and they're going to suck your emotions out. To some of you, brother and sister, you are so cold now because you've been messing with the wrong man and woman. You think right now, brother, that there are no good women. And some of you sisters right now, you think that there are no good men because you played with Satan's daughter or son. But you got to debunk that, because, brother and sister, you made a decision to get involved with your neighbor next door. And God told you don't play with them, right? It was an invisible fence. But now you want to see what was going on over there in Satan's yard, and they seem like they were having fun. It's no fun. It's no fun whatsoever. Now, in order to get out of it, you need to pray to God to help deliver you. You got to come to terms with it. It's just like some people that have to come to terms that they're alcoholic, that's a drug addict, that's a sex addict, all type of addict. But you see, the thing about it, the person got to come to his or herself and acknowledge, that's me. That's what you got to say. I'm the one. I got the problem. If you don't identify that you got the problem, how are you going to solve it? How are you going to get a solution? You got to identify, my brother and sister, that you got a problem. Sister Moore said, there are still good men out there. I just chose the wrong one. I understand, Sister Moore, because I have chose some wrong women in my lifetime. And you know what? I'm not blaming the women. I'm not blaming them. I took full responsibility because I made the decision. No woman never held no gun up at me. No woman never put a knife at me or threatened me to be with them like that. I made a conscious decision. That's why some of you brothers, some of you sisters, you made a conscious decision, and now you shackled. So the only way you're going to get delivered, you got to pray to the Lord for deliverance And I always tell you, you got to go no contact. These type of people, you got to leave them alone. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Because you can't just cold turkey them when they got that soul tie on you. But the Lord can break it, and it will take time. But while they're taking time, my brother and sister, you can't talk to them. Because all you're going to do, you're going to find yourself, my brother and sister, when you make up your mind that I'm not going to deal with him or her no more. You're going to make up your mind when you go no contact. It's going to be hard. You're going to want to call him or her. You're going to still want to do all that chasing and stuff. You're going to still want to do all that stuff, but you got to resist it. You got to, whatever contact you have with that person, my brother says, you got to go cold turkey. You got to make up your mind. If they got your phone number, you need to block the number. If they call you on another number, block. If you are friend with them on social media and stuff, you got to block them. Even if they come to you with a fake file, you got to keep blocking. If they go to some of your family members and friends, you got to have to tell your family member and friend when you hear that person, I say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want no contact with him or her. When you talk to him or her again, you just say he or she don't want to talk to you no more. That's what you tell them. And then while the Lord is healing you and you're doing no contact, you're gonna find out that as days go by, you're not gonna be thinking about him or her as much as you used to. You're gonna discover that you're healed, and you're gonna start feeling more energetic. You're going to be more happy, my brother and sister, because that's an inside job. And last but not least, you, brother, and you, sister, remember what's on the menu. When will God bring the right man or woman into your life? Number 7, last but not least, you finally, brother, or you finally, sister, decided to go to God and ask God, Lord, if it's your desire for my life, because I know I got a desire for a woman, brother, or sister, I have a desire for man. You got to say, Lord, I got a desire for a man or woman, but the relationship with you is good, God. But like you said, it's not good for man to be alone. That'll apply to women too. Lord, will you orchestrate for me to meet the right man or woman? Now, when you talk to the Lord, I always say to my brother and sister, do not go to the Lord with a superficial list. He or she got to be a certain height, a certain complexion, a certain weight, make X amount of money, live on a different side of time, make it, all that kind of stuff. That's superficial. Don't ask God. You ask God for anything. You ask God, Lord, I would like to be in a relationship with a man and woman that believe in you and following your son Jesus, because I believe in you and I'm following your son Jesus. So, Lord, you know what's best for me, because Father knows best. So you handpick the woman for me, Father. Father, you handpick the right man for me. So the man and the woman, you have to ask God that. Now, the question, my brother and sister, is this. Why have God, some of you single brothers and sisters right now, why have God, think about it, not introduce you to the right person yet? There are 2 questions I'm going to ask you. That's one of them. Ask yourself this. Why have God not introduced you to the right person yet? It's a reason why he have not. I'm going to go over 2 things. Now, the first part, this is some of you brothers, so this is the first part, not all of you. As it is written in the book of James 4:3, the book of James 4:3, the book of James 4:3. This is when you ask God for anything, but we're talking about a relationship. It's saying James 4:3, it said, when you ask, that means you ask God. You do not receive, that means God don't give him or her to you, because you ask with the wrong motive, that you may spend what you get on your pleasure. So the reason why some of you brothers and sisters right now do not have a man, sister, or a woman, brother in your life, because you asking God with the wrong motive. Again, it say, when you ask, we're talking about, you can ask God for anything, But we're narrowing it down to relationship. When you ask, you do not receive. God hear you, but he's not going to do it. Why? Because you ask with the wrong motive, that you may spend what you get on your pleasure. You see, when it comes to a relationship, even though, brother and sister, God gave you a desire for the right man and woman, are you asking God, look, Lord, if you bring the right man and woman in my life, thank you, Sister Sheila, we could worship you together and we could do great things together. If I have a companion, because in God's word, it say in Ecclesiastes, two are better than one. That's what the book of Ecclesiastes says. It said two are better than one. And I guarantee you, my brother and sister, two are better than one. If you're working somewhere, my brother and sister, and you get fired, and your mate working on something, you may take a hit, but it's better to take a hit if you fired and you got somebody that could tide it over till you get a job. But it's bad, my brother and sister, if you work somewhere and you live in paycheck to paycheck, and one day you go to work, like tomorrow, you go to work and they call you in the office. They either gonna get you early in the morning, close to lunchtime, or right before you get out. That's how they normally do it. A lot of times they go ahead and hit you right when you get to work. So if they about to give you the pink slip and you live in paycheck to paycheck, you're in a bad situation. Because a lot of time if you live paycheck to paycheck, what you're doing, sometimes you're borrowing money stuff from other people, right? You're doing all this stuff, but you're crunching. But you're going to show been a crunch if you ain't got nobody, if you get fired. Or if you get sick. If you get sick and you have a good husband or wife in your life, if you have a good husband or wife, you got someone to help you when you get sick, when you can't do nothing else. Don't be depending on all your family and friends. Don't be doing that, because they got a life themselves. Even some of you brothers and sisters that got children, you think that the golden child gonna come take care of you. There are some of you brothers and sisters right now, you got the golden child, right? That child can't do no wrong. But a lot of time, you have seen this and I have seen it. The one that you deem that the black sheep, that child that you call the black sheep, that's the one when you need something, that's the one that stick with you. But the golden child did not stick with you. You understand? So you got to be careful, my brother and sister, when you ask God, because you got the wrong motive. You just want a man or woman so you can feel complete. You just want a man or woman so you don't feel bad like you see other couples in a relationship. What you don't realize, my brother and sister, a lot of people in a relationship, they ain't even in a relationship. They in a roommate situation. There are some men that are married and some women that are married. They're roommates, my brothers and sisters. But they front on social media. They front in public, but inside in their home, their house. Because inside the house, they don't have no home. If they had a home, it would have harmony in it. There would be peace, not confusion. So any man, you have a whole lot of couples that live in a house together, but it's not a home. It's not a pleasant environment. They're roommates. So don't think, my brother, don't think, my sister, just because a man and woman got married before you, don't get jealous, don't get envious. A lot of times those people wish that they were not in that situation. Just because they didn't tell you that don't mean that everything is la-di-da. It's not. So don't even fret, my brother, and don't even fret, my sister. Question number 2. Do you have faith in God through his son, Jesus? You see, even when it comes to anything, and especially a relationship, because that's what we're talking about, did you act in faith minus the wrong motive? Okay, it said, as it is written in Matthew 7:7-8. Matthew 7:7-8. Matthew chapter 7:7-8. Jesus is doing the talking. Jesus said, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, Not, and it will be open. The door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be open. Thanks, Sister Cheryl. Now, it might sound like I contradicted myself using God's own word, because in James 4:3 said, when you ask, you do not receive, because you ask with the wrong motive, that you may spend what you get on your pleasure. So on one side of the coin, God where it said you don't get it, right? You're not receiving. Even though you pray to God, you didn't receive it, because it's the motive behind why you ask. You got to understand that. Not only the motive, faith, the motive on James, and in number 2, Matthew 7:7-8 said you have to keep asking, seeking, and knocking, and you'll get it. That's the man and that's the woman that go to God with the right motive. The man and woman, they have faith in God. What is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. That's what faith is. It's the evidence of things not seen. But you hope for it, and you get it. So you have to have faith in God. And see, when you have faith in God, my brother, sister, like anything else, it's not your time. It's not your time. Brother, it's not your time yet. God still may be working on you. Sister, it's not your time. God may be working on you. And you all have heard it before. When I met her, I told you all, it took 5 years from the time I asked God. Because prior to that, my brother and sister, let me tell you that prior to the women that was in my life that I was dealing with, I didn't ask God. You see why I messed up? I did not ask God. I didn't ask. I thought I could use my own human wisdom and ingenuity to get the right woman. Now, most of the women that I have dated, my brother and sister, don't get me wrong. Most of the women that I have dated, if you look at it from an outside standpoint, they was beautiful. They was beautiful. They was easy on the eyes, brothers. Brother, if you're looking for fine, I had some women that were fine. If you're talking about brick house, I have had some brick houses in my life. I have. But I was going about it wrong. It was the wrong motives. That's why I didn't get what I wanted, because I had the wrong motives. That's why God didn't even give me the benefit of the doubt. God didn't do what I wanted him to do until I had sense enough. I had to be in the pig pen like the prodigal son, and then I had to think, hey, I'm living a life like this. I'm living my life like I'm not a son of God. I'm a son of God, and I got to live like I'm a son of God. Now I got to go to God and let God know the foolish mistakes that I had made. He already knew it, but he wanted me to admit it. That's what you have to do. You have to admit first. And then when I admit it, our relationship will restore. My relationship with God and Christ will restore. But he still did not give me my goodies yet. Miss Toomer there, he still didn't give me my goodies yet until 5 years. And during that 5 years, after I asked God, my brother and sister, I was trying to get myself together, and I was dating every now and then. Okay, I was dating. But when I was dating, I already knew that it wasn't going to be no future. I knew it. Like I always tell you, brothers and sisters, men know in a short period of time. A man know whether he see that woman as a wife or not. You know it. But when I laid my eyes upon her on day one, not day two, not day two, I knew on day one when I met her, I told her, you the one. She listened to what I had to say and she started smiling and stuff. She didn't say nothing. I said, you the one on day one. And I won't pull in no games. I never told no woman on day one, you the one. I never did. I have done that. But with that one, I did. You know why I did it? I did it because of something that I didn't see. God had answered my prayer, but I didn't know it yet. And if you all know what I always say, I prayed for God to have a woman to follow me in perfect tone as I follow Christ. And she quoted those words to me that I had prayed to God. I didn't tell her that. She quoted it. And when she quoted it to me, I said, that's the sign that God let me know that she's the one. Because she's the only woman that have ever told me in my life she would follow me. And that's the prayer I asked God for. So, brother, I'm telling you, you don't have to exactly pray like I did, but I'm just giving you an example. I prayed to God. How you doing, Esther Phillip? Welcome to the dinner table. Welcome, sister. I'm glad that you hit the dinner table, sister. I had to pray to God to have a woman to follow me as I follow Christ. You see, I didn't want to be in a relationship where it was going to be an unequally yoked thing, brothers and sisters. I didn't want no unequally yoked. Lord don't want you to be in a relationship with an unequally yoked man or woman. Like I have told you, my brother and sister, God does not want you playing with your next door neighbor, Mr. Satan, and his children, his sons and daughters. God wants you to stay in your own yard, and the neighbor that lives next door, don't guard children too. So God wants you to look at the children that come and play in your yard. Godly men and godly sisters, that's your brothers and sisters. God only wants you, brother, to if you're going to get a relationship, he wants you to get a relationship with a Christian woman. Nothing else behind that title. A Christian woman. Sister, the only thing that God wants you to do is be in a relationship with a Christian man. Nothing behind it. What is a Christian? A Christian, my brother and sister, is a follower of God's Son, Jesus Christ. So if you are in a relationship with Jesus, my brother and sister, Jesus don't want you playing with the next door neighbors, because he know the next door neighbor will influence you. Case in point, if the next door neighbor smoking, they're going to say, why don't you take a smoke? If they getting drunk, they're going to say, ain't nothing wrong with a little this and that. Come on. They having parties every weekend. Come on over here. Come on. Then they want to get that little white stuff and put their nose down like this and sniff it up. Come on, ain't nothing wrong with it. Make you feel good. At first, you're going to resist them. Then you're going to see other people doing it. You're going to say, no, I don't see like nothing wrong with them. And you're gonna see that it's going to overtake you, because you're playing in the wrong yard. Yes, the grass may look greener. You look over the fence and the grass look greener. And you look at your yard, you got a little grass. Then you look over that yard, the grass look greener. But what you don't understand, even though the grass look greener, it got a lot of what? It got more manure over there. Why Satan grass is greener? Because he got a whole bunch of manure over there. And his children playing in that stuff, and they want to put a manure pie in your face. So don't do it, my brother, and don't do it, my sister. Ask God. You see, when you have a relationship with God, my brother and sister, the only way you're going to get to God the Father, you cannot ignore Jesus. You have to first, before you get anything, but we'll talk about relationship. That includes a relationship. You must have a relationship with God the Father through his son Jesus. You got to make sure that relationship is established first. And when that relationship is established first, Then God gave you wisdom, the ability to see things from his perspective. He give you knowledge how to apply the wisdom that you have. He give you understanding so you can understand what you're doing. And then he giving you discernment so you can see through the crowd what's in front of him. In front of you. So God give you wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment. So you, brother, and you, sister, you have it going on. Even when a man and woman is in front of you, God discernment will let you know yay or nay. And it comes in its simplest form. If you have confusion about that man or woman that's in front of you, that's a red flag. If something that just don't seem right with that person, you can't put your finger on it. That's God discernment saying, walk away, or maybe even wrong. But if you have a good conscience towards this person, and once you have a good conscience toward that person, called what God going to do, he is going to let what's inside that person be known. You will be able to use your discernment. It's not about intuition. It's not about being intellectual. It's about discernment. You see, when it comes to discernment, you're going to be able to see the core of that person. Because God going to prompt them to talk. So when God prompts them to talk, you're going to be able to listen and process. And not only is God going to process them to talk, you're going to be focused on their words and their action, because communication is two-part, is verbal and non-verbal. So God going to be able to put it right there. His or her word and his or her action. And you're going to see it. It must be balanced. If it's not balanced, that's telling you something, my brother and sister. Sister Phillips said, true, a woman that honors God know how to honor her husband through Christ. Amen, sister, you're correct on that. So let me tell you this, my brother and sister, don't do it. When God brings the right man or woman into my life, he will do it. Let me go all the way back to Eden. I'm going to put some little sprinkles here every now and then. Let's go all the way back to Eden. When did God bring Eve to Adam's attention? Let's answer that one simple question. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. When did God, not what day, when did God bring Eve to Adam? Keep in mind, when God brought Eve to Adam, he didn't bring Eve to be Adam's girlfriend. He did not bring Eve to Adam to be his boo. He didn't bring Eve to Adam to be his run through 12 a.m. midnight on that call, what you doing? When he brought Eve to Adam, Eve was the perfect prototype of a virtuous woman. The Bible does not say how Eve looked on the outside, but since Eve was the first woman, she was beautiful inside and out. Because when God brought Eve to Adam, she was complete. She was beautiful on the inside and she was beautiful on the outside. Because she was perfectly complete and right for Adam. But before he brought Eve to Adam's attention, let's focus on Adam. What did Adam have? Adam had a relationship with God first. After Adam had a relationship with God, what did God do for him? He put him somewhere. You see, when a man have a relationship with God, he's going to put him somewhere. He put Adam in Eden. So he put him somewhere. Not only did he put Adam somewhere, he gave Adam a job. Cultivate the ground, dress his garden. So Adam had a relationship with God, 1. 2, he placed Adam somewhere. 2. 3, he gave Adam a job. To tip the ground, he had something to do. He had to work. God provided, Adam had to work. Then what God did? He started instructing Adam. What did he do? He started telling Adam some things, what he can do and what he can't do. And one major thing that he told Adam he couldn't do, he told Adam, out of all the trees in here, you see, you could eat it. He gave Adam freedom. Adam had a free, you got to understand it, Adam had a free will. God did not make Adam a robot, so Adam had a free will. So with Adam's free will, God said you could eat out of all the trees in the garden, but that one particular tree, God pointed out to him. He said, don't eat it. Because of the day you eat it, you shall surely die. God gave Adam one boundary. Everything else was good and gold. Then what God do? He brought all the animals to Adam to name them. Now he giving Adam responsibilities. And he's triggering Adam thinking. While he's naming the animals male and female, he don't know what else God was up to. You see, when he brought male and female to Adam, he named all of them. But also Adam noticed that's a male and that's a female. Mr. Dog, Miss Dog. Miss Cat, Mr. Cat. Mr. Elephant, Miss Elephant. Miss Dolphin, Mr. Dolphin. Every animal that Adam named, it was a male and a female. But while Adam was doing all the naming, God was looking at him, but God already knew what was the deal. He knew that Adam would start wondering, why are they paired up? Male and female. But Adam did what he was going to do, right? So Adam, how you doing, Sister? Thank you, Sister Tammy. Adam was complete. He was completely complete. He was not on his way up. He wasn't trying to get himself together. He was already together. But God said it's not good for man to be alone. You see, Adam was perfect. God said it's not good for man to be alone. Even though Adam had a relationship with God, that's what some people don't understand. All I need is Jesus. I don't need nobody else. But God said himself, while Adam was in a perfect state, it was not good for him to be alone. You see, Adam was alone. You see, God called it out. God said it's not good for man to be alone. You understand? He didn't say lonely. Adam was not depressed. He said alone. So he knew that Adam was alone. That doesn't mean he was sad. Like some of you brothers and sisters, you shouldn't be sad if you're in a relationship. Don't be sad. It's just in God's time. God knows what's up. Like I always tell you, beautiful people, God sees the whole parade. We have to stand there and watch the parade go by. But God is up high looking low. He sees the end of the parade, then the beginning. He look at the beginning, go to the back. He look at the middle, go to the back, middle, middle, front. God sees it all. So what did God do? In God's time, not Adam time. How you doing, Sister Terry? So God knew that it was not good for man to be alone because of temptation. Yeah, it wasn't Adam wasn't facing no temptation at that particular point. We'll get to that shortly. So Adam, God caused a sleep to come upon Adam. Adam was not asleep before God put him to sleep. So God said, it's time. I'm going to give old boy a surprise. I'm about to blow his mind. He got a relationship with me, which is very good. I put him in a good situation, which is very good. But now, he ain't seen nothing yet. But I'm going to surprise him. I got a gift for my boy Adam, my son Adam. So I'm going to put him to sleep. I want him to get some good rest, because when I put some good rest on this boy, he gonna wake up to something he never seen before. He called that sleep to come on Adam. Adam went to sleep. He was knocked out. You talk about kind disease. And while Adam was in a deep sleep, the Lord Jesus opened up Adam's rib. I mean, he opened up his flesh, the side of his flesh. He opened up, I don't know whether he cut it or not, but he opened it up. He gently got out of rib, no pain. Adam didn't need no anesthesia. He took out one of the ribs that was in Adam. Adam still knocked out sleep. No propofol or nothing, but God slept. So he closed up the wound. No sign of anything. While Adam was asleep, God took this rib and fashioned someone that's the counterpart to Adam. And God formed Eve. Sister Phyllis said, I believe that God said it wasn't good for a man to be alone because unbalanced to who God is. It is ironic that Adam was naming and putting male and female animals, but Adam didn't have a female. Amen, sister. Good point. So when Adam was dead to the world, he was asleep. He wasn't really dead. He was just knocked out. God formed this woman. And when he had formed this woman, you better be guaranteed that God had a conversation with Eve. Because God is a being of communication. Before he presented Eve to Adam, it's not in the Bible, but God communicates. So you better believe God communicated with Eve. So God had a unique relationship with Adam minus the woman. And then he had a conversation with Eve minus the man. But at that time, she was not called nothing at that time, right? Thank you, Sister Phil. She wasn't called nothing at that time. She didn't have no name or nothing. What did God do? He presented the woman to Adam. She didn't have no titles, no nothing. She had a position, though. You got to understand that, my brother and sister. She had a position. The position was she was a wife. That's the position God brought her in. She was the position of a wife. So Adam had gotten some practice, right? Adam had some practice naming male and female, right? So when he woke up out of his sleep, I'm sure that God, the Lord, probably said, or woke him up and said, Adam, wake up. Or he could have even had Eve to touch Adam. I don't know. I'm speculating. He could have had Eve to touch Adam. He could have had Eve to kiss Adam on his cheek. You talking about Sleeping Beauty in the reverse, in the other world. Eve could have actually kissed Adam on the cheek or something, and he woke up to her. We don't know how he woke up. All we know is when he woke up, he said, like Gomer Pie, golly. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Now, you all don't be going around saying, Brother Tony said, Adam said in the Bible, like Gomer Pie, I'm just adding some flavor to it, okay? So, but when Adam woke up, he said, he looked at him. He had practice in naming. He said, now, that's bone of my bone. He knew it. You got to understand, Adam was perfect. He had perfect knowledge. He knew where she had came from. Because you got to understand, Adam also had the Spirit of God living in him too. So he was getting help. So Adam said, bone of my bone. He knew he knew that she came from him. And he said, flesh of my flesh. So when Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, what was Adam saying? He named her. He said, I shall call her woman. God didn't call a woman. He let Adam call a woman. But you got to understand this. Adam did not call her Eve. At that time, he didn't. This was a whole bunch of people missed. He did not call Eve first. He called her by her position. Because he said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. And for this reason, a man should leave his father and mother and cleave or join together with his wife. You see, Adam called her by her title. He said, a man should leave his father and mother. Keep in mind, Adam didn't have no natural father and mother, but God, right? Because God was Adam's father, just like he was Christ's father. You understand? You gotta do some deep stuff. But Adam said, but a man should leave his father and mother. You see, Adam was so he had so much wisdom, he knew that he was going to have some descendants coming down the line, because he said father and mother. He already knew it. So he said, the man supposed to leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. So he called Eve, well, her name was Eve, but he called the woman, he said woman first, then he said wife. That's my wife. Like when I looked at Cinderella there, I said to myself, that's my wife. I already seen that she was a woman, but then I said through the Spirit of God, that's my wife. I told her, just like Adam called out Eve, I called out Cinderella. I said, that's you, my wife. What did Eve deny it or anything? Nope. She came right on in. Did Cinderella deny it? Nope, she came right on in. Thank you, Sister Philip. She came right on in. But the difference between Adam and Eve and Cinderella and myself, we are imperfect. But God brought the right situation together. Adam and Eve were perfect, and he brought the right situation together. Okay? So when he brought Eve to Adam, Eve did not get her name Eve until after the fall. Because when Adam and Eve messed up and they hid, they heard the Lord coming in the cool of the day. They were used to talking to the Lord face to face. The Lord would leave heaven and take a stroll through the garden. On this one particular day, the Bible said they heard the voice of the Lord. Do you understand what that means? The voice of the Lord. Who is the voice of the Lord? Let's listen to this. Who is the voice of the Lord? How can a voice walk? When we look at the Gospel of John, what does the Gospel of John say? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And we beheld it. When you look in the Gospel of John, he introducing Jesus to us, but he didn't say Jesus by name. He said, in the beginning was the Word. That's validation that Jesus was already in existence before we came into play. It said, in the beginning was the Word. Then it said his position. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God. So Jesus, my brother and sister, is part of the Godhead. He didn't get his name Jesus until Gabriel told Mary what to call him. You understand? He didn't get the specific name Jesus, the assigned name, until Gabriel talked to Mary. But Jesus was already in existence. Don't you know, my brother and sister, that Jesus was in existence before he created Mary? He's the only person that could say he older than his mama. And he was older than Mary because he was in eternity. He had no age. He always was. He never went out of existence. Even when Jesus died on the cross, he did not get eliminated. But back to the Garden of Eden. Eve, when Adam and Eve messed up, that's when her name was Eve, got called Eve. Eve meant the mother of the living. That's when she got her name, Eve. Prior to that, when God talked to the male and the female, because what the Bible say? The male and the female is made in the likeness and image of God. So when he talked to Adam, there was a female Adam and a male Adam. That's just like If someone talked to my wife and me, they can address both of us as tumor. Because she's a tumor. That's my last name, and she's a tumor. But we are different. We're different personalities in our relationship. She's the wife, I'm the husband, but we go under one name. You follow what I'm saying? We go under one name, but we got different roles and position in a relationship. Just like Jesus and God have different roles in a relationship. They're equal, yet they have different roles in the Godhead. God, the Father, Jesus, Son, and the Holy Spirit, they're equal, yet they got different responsibilities in the relationship. They're like my wife and I, we're in a relationship, we're equal. But I'm in a leadership role and she's in a following role because God designed it that way. So, when will God bring the right man and woman into my life? When the man is completely ready for the woman. And God calls the shot on that. When is the wife ready? When God make her wife ready. Now, this is what worldly men and women don't know about. They go by getting a relationship the world's way. But when you really break it down to its smallest denominator, God is behind the background. He always bring a woman to a man. He set up the situation for that man to be exposed to that woman. Adam did not have to run after Eve. That's right, Sister Phillip. Yet different roles and different responsibilities. Adam did not run after Eve. Isaac did not run after Rebekah. Boaz did not run after Ruth. Any man that ran after a woman always got in trouble. And the two men that ran after women, and you all know the story about them. Samson ran after women. What happened? He got a free haircut and he got blind too. He ran after women. Who else ran after women? King David ran after women. David had more than one wife. He wasn't supposed to, but God allowed him to. Going back to Genesis after Adam and Eve messed up, there's a guy that's in Genesis. He had two wives. God never made a man to have two women. That's man's doing. God never made a woman to have more than one husband. If any man try to accommodate two women, you're gonna have problems. If a woman have more than two men, you're gonna have a problem. You know why, brother? You know why you're gonna have a problem? Because it's hard enough getting to know that one woman. I ain't said difficult. I said it's hard enough. That's a full-time job with one. You see, you have to deal with that woman's. You got to deal with one woman everything. Besides her spirit, she got a soul. She got mind, will, and emotion. That's her soul. You got to deal with her mind. You got to deal with her will. She up one day, she down one day. Then you got to deal with her feelings, her emotions. And we know how that goes. That rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. We already know how that goes, right? So if you add another woman into the equation, you got to deal with her the same way. And the body, you got to deal with, the more women you get, the more you're going to have some issues. And likewise, sister, the more men you deal with, you're going to have more issues. Your mind is going to be split because the more people you have, they're gonna have different wants and needs. It's gonna be basic, but they're gonna want things from you. They're going to wear you out. You might think hey, brother, you might think you Casanova or Romeo and all that kind of stuff, Rudolph Valentino and all that. Or some of you all think y'all play a player like King Solomon. But you see, the thing about King Solomon, you brothers, King Solomon was a king of a country. King Solomon had wisdom like none of us had wisdom. King Solomon had wealth beyond wealth. No man prior to Solomon, while Solomon was living, or after Solomon, had the type of wealth Solomon had. What man can you name? Now, some people, they want to name this guy, and I'm black. But there are some people that will say this black man, he was the richest man that ever lived. That's the ever living lie. The Bible say it was King Solomon. Because God said he was not going to, no other man was going to have what Solomon had. Wisdom, wealth, and the king of a country, all tied together. Now, some men have some of the components, but not completely like Solomon. But his daddy had more than one woman. What happened to that? His daddy, David. But it really went down on Solomon. What happened to him? But let's get back on course. Mary and Joseph. God brought all them together. Why did God do all this stuff? Because he had a purpose in mind. His purpose was to bring Jesus down that family line. Just like, brother, when God put you, brother, with a woman, sister, you with a man, it's not for you. It's for God's glory. Because God said, I'm not going to share my glory with anyone. So God gives you a desire, brother and sister. Why do God put a man and woman together? Go back to the book of Genesis. To reproduce, and to have dominion over whatever assignment that God placed in that woman's life for God's glory. God never put a man and woman together just for them being together. God is always come down to God's glory. So that's what you brothers and sisters got to understand. Yes, you may have desire, brother, for a woman. Yes, sister, you may have desire for a man, but it's about God's glory. So don't get it twisted. And if you desire to have a man or woman in your life, brother and sister, and if James 4:3, hopefully this is not about you. It said, when you ask, you do not receive, because you ask with the wrong motive. When you ask God for a man or a woman, do you ask because, let's say, you horny? You horny. So you want a man or woman because you horny. You want a man or woman because you coming up financially short. You see that big house, so you need a man or a woman. You want to see who bring what to the table. Now you're getting carnal minded. You're thinking like you got one foot in God's kingdom, and then you got one in the world. You can't do it. You got to either be all the way in or not in. Or you're going to do it God's way, like Jesus said in Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 8. Ask and you will be given, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks, receive, the one who finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be open. That's the person that asks with the right motive. If you all notice, going back to King Solomon, you know what impressed God about King Solomon? When God appeared to Solomon in a dream, and his name wasn't Martin Luther King, but he appeared to Solomon in a dream. So when he appeared to Solomon in a dream, he asked Solomon, he said, what do you want from me? Can you imagine, my brother and sister, if God come to you and give you a blank check and say, what do you want from me? The creator of the worlds, he appeared to you and said, what do you want? What would you ask him for? Some of you all see the lotto on TV right now. It's close to $1 billion, I think. It's either $1 billion by now or getting close. It's right knocking on the door. Some of the word, I ain't trying to talk about you Christian brothers and sisters, but a lot of word people say, I want $1 billion. That's what they'll ask God for. I want $1 billion. But what they don't know, if they don't get whatever they supposed to win, they're not going to get all of it. They'll get a lot of it, but not all of it. Because guess what? The government going to get a lot of it first off the top before they get that check, depending on whether they want it all in one lump sum or they want it yearly. But whatever, they're going to get that. The government good old Uncle Sam going to get that first hit. And they think that after Uncle Sam, the United States government get that first cut off that lotto that's up, they think everything is well and good. I could just do all this with the money. I could build me a big house and stuff. I could do all this great stuff. But what they don't realize is the government is not finished with them. They get surprised when the government not finished with them because you see they done move into a higher tax bracket. And when they move into a higher tax bracket, the government coming back for some more money. You all remember that movie called More Money? The government gonna come for more money. You ain't finished with the government. Some of you that sneaking and playing, some of you brothers that sneaking playing the lotto, you're not gonna, you get that money, the government gonna want some of that money. And let me tell you this, and this free of charge. This will get me with some people. Some people are not going to like what I'm about to say. If you play in the lotto, and you win the lotto, you better not even say, thank God for this. God didn't help you to win no lotto. So you want to ease your mind by winning the lotto and give it to the church. Oh, yeah, they're going to take it. Well, yeah, more than likely they're going to take it. But God does not cause you to win the lotto. Because what you got to understand, my brother and sister, is Satan ruled this world system. God wants a man and woman to work or do whatever it takes to get it legally. God don't want you to. You see, my brother and sister, this thing is so deep. If you winning some money, you are getting money off of other people. That's how you getting your money. You lazy. You are actually lazy. You banking on other people, and you see when whoever win the lotto, which might not be you funding though, you giving those people your money when you could have been paying your bills. But that's a whole nother story. But back to the story. God will bring the right circumstance together. So everything about it, God always bring a prepared man to see the right woman that is wife ready. When a man that is prepared, godly man, we're talking about a godly man. You see, godly men know within a short period of time whether a woman is wife ready. Some worldly men, I give some worldly men credit. Sometimes they want to do right about going ahead, not stringing a woman along. You see, brother, you don't string a woman along. Let the woman know straight up whether or not what the deal is. Tell her what you want from her. Don't play no game with the woman. Just go ahead and tell her what you want from her and let her make up her mind. And sister, some of you women, not all of y'all play games too. Go ahead and tell the man what you want from him instead of playing all the game. Because the big game between men and women is this. Most men want just to have sex with women. That's what most men want from women. I just want to have sex with you. I want nothing else from you. I want all the gusto from you. And some women, all they want is the bank from the man. They want to see how deep the man pocket. That's the biggest game. So when it comes to sex and money, it's still a big game of prostitution. The man is the big pimp, and the woman is the harlot. Instead of not what he or she have, but who he or she is on the inside. Whether or not that man or woman have a relationship with God, Son, Jesus. So When will God bring the right man and woman into my life? When you are delighting in the Lord and you following after the Lord, in the God time, he will make it happen. So that's the answer. In God time, when you're doing things to please God, you see, you got to be pleasing God. You're gonna fall sometime on your faith, my brother and sister, but once you decide to please God, in God's time, he's going to make it happen. So don't settle. Don't think it's all over. Don't be looking in the mirror saying, I'm about 70 years old and I ain't got no hubby yet. God gonna bring the right man to find you at the right time. A man that findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtain favor from the Lord, because the Lord bring the woman and the man together. Sister Phyllis said, God asked Solomon the same thing in a dream, and the answer that Solomon gave him make him to be rich and wise man ever, but yet live with men regardless. Solomon is a perfect example to learn from. Yes, Solomon asked my brother, and Solomon asked my sister for wisdom. Because you see, what Solomon did was this. When he asked the Lord about, now the TV just came on. I don't know what happened, but it just came on. It startled me. What's going on around here? But anyway, when the Lord appeared to Solomon, he said, what can I get to you? He said, I want to understand the heart to rule your people. So that impressed God, because you see, Solomon was trying to please God first. And then what God said, since you have not asked me for the long life, wealth, and what else he said? Long life, wealth, or your enemies, I'm going to give you all of that. So you see, Solomon knew what to ask God. And then God threw all that other stuff in free of charge. Solomon didn't even ask for that. He asked for God's will first. That's what we have to do, my brother and sister. We have to ask God for his will first. And we ask God for other things. We ask God for the important thing in life. And a lot of times, God going to throw us some stuff that we didn't even ask for. If you have, thank you so much, my brother and sister, for coming to the dinner table tonight. If there's anything that you need to ask, go ahead and put in the comment box. Say, wait, formulate your question or your comment. That's all you have to do. Say, wait, formulate your question or comment, and I will wait briefly. Then, or if you don't have anything to say or question, you could go ahead and take this carrot plate with you. Sister Phil said, Solomon add for understanding, yep, which he should ask, as the Bible say, in all thy getting, get understanding. That's right. You got to get all your understanding. You're right about that. But you know what, my brother and sister? Wisdom is the principal thing that every man and every woman should ask God for. It said wisdom is the principle. That's in Proverbs. Ask for wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the ability, my brother and sister, to see things from God's point of view. Don't ask God, can you be smart or intellectual or articulate? Ask God, after your relationship with God through his son Jesus, ask for wisdom. When you ask for wisdom, my brother and sister, it's some people, even some of your own people, they're not going to understand you. You know why your own people don't understand you? Because you got wisdom. They're going to look, some of you going to, let me tell you, you're going to lose some of your family members. You're going to lose some of your friends, because God have pulled you out of the world. That means the world system, and you're back in the world. So some of them are going to say you crazy. They might say you're a Jesus freak. They're going to be talking behind your back. When you walk up on them, they're going to change the topic. Have you ever did it, my brother and sister? This have happened sometime with me. I don't go around talking about Jesus all the time. You could walk up to some people and they be talking about something, then they stop talking. Or that you could tell them to change the topic, right? Or they'll do this. If you're in front of some people and you just come say, if they cuss, they'll say, oh, I'm sorry. You ain't even have to say nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Why do people do that? Because it's not you, it's because they recognize the Lord in you. Always know that when people do things like that, they know that the Lord present. They might not understand it. They might can't say the Lord in you, but they know you're a particular man and you're a particular woman. People, let me tell you something, my brother and sister. When you have a relationship with the Lord, people are gonna know that you have a relationship with the Lord. And a lot of times you don't even have to say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus all the time. They would tell you because you being watched. Your family watching you, your friends watching you, the public is watching you, social media is watching you. If you are a Christian, my brother and sister, people going to tell you. Every now and then they're going to tell you. You don't have to tell them that you're a Christian all the time unless they ask. A lot of times they're going to tell you. They either might say stuff like, you're a man or woman of God, based on how you talk and how you move. Because people are going to be listening to your words and they're going to be watching your action. They're going to know whether you're a son or daughter of God. They'll know it. Especially though the daughter, especially Satan, son and daughter, they're going to know it. Because they're going to run from you. They don't want no part of you. They'll challenge you, but they don't want no part of you. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. Thank you all so much for coming to the dinner table. I will have another meal prepared tomorrow between the hours of 7:30 and 8. Okay, that's my time. I'm going to probably pop in between 7:30 and 8 p.m. tomorrow, okay? I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. That's between 7:30 and 8 Eastern Standard Time. I love you, brother. I love you, sisters. Remember that, believe that, say la vie. Amen, and peace out.